Imagine being laughed at for the way you look, mocked for your size, and bullied for simply existing on the land your family built with their blood and sweat. Now imagine those same bullies learning, too late, that the fat farm girl they pushed around was secretly trained by one of the toughest warriors on earth, a Green Beret sniper. This is not just a story of revenge, but of courage, pain, and the power of resilience. Stay with me till the end. You won't believe how it all unfolds. Clara Jenkins had grown up on her family's farm, a wide stretch of golden fields and old wooden barns that smelled of hay, rain, and the hard work of generations. She was 21, broad-shouldered, heavy-set, and quiet. To strangers in town, she was simply the fat farm girl, a title that carried more sting than any slap ever could. The local boys, especially the ones who thought themselves tough, made her life miserable. They would drive by her family's fence, shouting cruel jokes about her weight, mooing like cows, and daring her to fight back. At the feed store, they would knock bags of seed from her arms just to laugh at her struggle. But what no one knew, what Clara kept buried deep in her heart, was that her late father hadn't just been a farmer. He had been a Green Beret sniper, one of the deadliest soldiers in the US military. Before he passed away, he trained Clara in ways no one could imagine. Every morning, before the roosters crowed, Clara would run drills, lift weights, and practice survival tactics. By sunset, she could hit a tin can at 600 yards with her father's old rifle, stalk silently through cornfields, and disarm a man twice her size. Still, Clara never showed her skills. She didn't want to. She wanted peace. She wanted to plant her crops, tend her animals, and live quietly with the memory of her father guiding her heart. But bullies don't respect silence. One late afternoon, Clara was stacking hay when a truck full of local boys pulled into her land without permission. Dust and laughter filled the air as they jumped out, kicking over buckets and spitting on her family's soil. "Look at this fat cow working all alone," one sneered. "No wonder no one will marry her." Another grabbed her straw hat and tossed it into the mud. "What are you gonna do about it, Clara?" Cry. Clara's hands trembled, not out of fear, but out of restraint. She remembered her father's words. "The strongest weapon isn't your rifle, Clara, it's your patience. Use it." But patience has limits. That night, Clara sat in her kitchen, staring at her father's folded Green Beret uniform that still hung proudly in the hallway. Her jaw clenched, her eyes burned. She whispered into the silence, "They think I'm weak, Daddy, but they don't know who raised me." The storm was coming. The bullies returned the next weekend, this time drunk and louder. They roared across her field with their truck, tearing through her crops. Clara stepped onto the porch, silent, her boots steady on the wooden boards. "Hey, fatty," one shouted. "Wanna race us to the barn? Bet you can't run 10 feet without falling." The boys laughed, but their laughter faltered when Clara didn't flinch. She walked slowly toward them, her eyes cold and steady, her father's stare living through her. "Leave my land," she said calmly. One boy shoved her shoulder, testing her. The others circled, recording on their phones. "Or what? You'll eat us," he mocked. The second his hand touched her, Clara's training took over. In a blur, she grabbed his wrist, twisted it behind his back, and dropped him to the dirt. The phone went flying. Another rushed forward. Clara sidestepped, using his momentum to flip him into the mud. The rest froze. The fat farm girl wasn't supposed to move like that. But Clara wasn't done. She pulled the folded cloth from her back pocket, a faded piece of her father's Green Beret patch, and held it up. "My father was a sniper. He trained me every day of my life. You boys picked the wrong farm." The silence that followed was heavier than any insult they'd ever thrown. One by one, the bullies lowered their heads, backing away, their pride shattered. But Clara didn't smile. She didn't feel triumphant. She only felt her father's presence, as if he stood beside her whispering, "You've finally shown them who you are." From that day forward, no one mocked Clara in town. The whispers changed from fat farm girl to the soldier's daughter. She didn't just earn respect, she earned freedom. And as she stood alone on her porch that night, watching the stars, she whispered again, "I'm not just a farmer, I'm your daughter, and I'll keep fighting just like you taught me." Clara's story reminds us all, your worth isn't defined by how you look, but by the strength you carry inside. Sometimes the world underestimates you. Sometimes people laugh, but one day they'll see what you're truly made of.